Okay, everyone, this is the magical part. We're going to use our carbon paper to get our pattern onto our fabric to get it ready for sewing. So what we're going to do is use this carbon paper, and I want to show you something here, and this is really important. This is not like your regular carbon paper that we used to use as kids. That's a little thicker and we don't like that stuff. It'll smudge, but this is different. This is meant to be used on fabric and for paper. See how thin it is? And there are two sides. There's a dark side and a light side. Okay, this is very, very important. The dark side of your carbon paper goes down onto your fabric, just like that. See? Make sure that the dark side is on your fabric, because sometimes, and I have done this, is you go like this, just not paying attention to what you're doing, and you trace your whole pattern, and nothing will be there. Okay, so please use the dark side onto the fabric. And this is a really, really cost-effective way for this hobby to work, because you can use this over and over and over again. So it's a really, really great tool to get your pattern onto your fabric. So what we're going to do is, of course, I've got my dark on my fabric, and we're going to take our pattern that we have here. And the really nice thing also about carbon paper is you don't have to make it backwards, because sometimes if we were doing an iron-on transfer, I would have to make the words backwards, trace them on in order for them to get properly situated onto your fabric. So this is easy. Now, if you prefer, you can tape this down if that helps you out so you don't slip. I don't have any tape today. I usually don't, but if you prefer to do that, you so totally can. And also what you want to do when you put your pattern in, make sure that you keep enough fabric on the sides here, because you're going to need enough to pull on your hoop, which we will show you later. Also, I want to mention before we start, I have a few creases in here. And what you really would be best to do is to iron your fabric first. But I don't have an iron here today, but that's okay. Because what's going to happen is when I put it in my hoop, it's going to get nice and tight and taut. And so it'll stretch out, so it won't really matter all that much. Okay, I'm going to show you some magic here. So what we're going to do, okay, like I said, tape it if you need. And I'm going to use one of the styluses. This is one of mine, but you will have them in the kit. And I don't know if you can see that there's a really, really, really fine point. That's the one I like to use. Okay. Also, if you don't have a stylus, you can use a very fine point pen, which I used to do all the time. But then I figured out we could use a stylus, and it's much better. But a pen will work. Okay, so what we're going to do is literally just follow the pattern here. Do my little dots here, my little dots here, and make my little daisies here. And how hard do I press? Well, you want to press hard enough that you can kind of feel a bit of resistance on there, but not so hard that your paper rips. So that's kind of a good gauge there. So we're going to do this, 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 and this, and like that, like so. Okay, now that I've got everything traced, are we ready to see the whole pattern here? There we are, there. So you guys should have something that looks like this. And you know what, if you make a little mistake, it's really not a big deal, because you're going to be sewing over it and no one will ever know because you have your pretty thread over it. So there we are. Okay, so that is transferring a pattern onto your fabric.